Today on Money Grip at the body shop that looks like a junkyard, solving 20-year-old electrical problems that nobody has the answer for. So the electrical problem I'm having is with the stupid immobilizer in the Prelude, and it's Prelude specific and it's not like any other Honda immobilizer. Here's a picture of what it looks like, and it's under the dash next to the steering column. Typically it's bolted to that bracket and it has this plug and this plug. This is the A plug and this is the B plug. And the way it works is there's a chip inside of the key, and this ring picks up the signal from the key, sends it to the immobilizer box, and says, okay, this is the right key, we're not getting stolen. Give power and ground to the ECU, the starter, all that stuff. Allow it all to work. So before any of you geniuses out there that go, oh, why don't you just throw an OBD1 computer in it? The immobilizer in the Prelude does not care what ECU you have in it, because it is hardwired into the body harness, interrupting the ECU and the starter circuit. It's not a chip that's soldered into an OBD2A or B computer like the Civic, the CRV, the Odyssey, and any other early 90s Honda. It's not like that at all. Here's a wiring diagram to prove it. Here's what's going on. I'm going to show you guys how to bypass that today. And if you're wondering, no, this isn't a 4th gen, a 3rd gen, 2nd gen, or 1st gen Prelude problem. It's only the 5th gen that has this style system in it. And I think some of the K-Series cars have this style immobilizer box in it. But, nope. Before we go on to how to solve this issue, there's either 2 people watching this. Somebody that's been watching the build and subscribed, or you're just looking for the answer to your problem. So if you're not subscribed, like and subscribe. Another thing before we actually get started on the fix, there's going to be one thing different about your Prelude after this. The green key light that comes on and goes off that signals that your immobilizer is working, it's not going to be there anymore unless you ground the pin from the plug to ground. Then it'll be on all the time. So we're just going to leave that one floating in space and probably cap it off. Real quick before we get started, I want to show the flow of power with this. So the first circuit I'm going to draw out is A1 to A4, and from A4 you see it goes to the main relay, it goes to terminal 7 on the main relay, and that flows to terminal 6, which feeds 12 volts to your ECU. Now the next one I'm going to show is the logic ground from the ECU. So we're going to go from terminal A6 on the immobilizer to A8, which is ground. And then the last bypass you need to do is A2 to A3, which completes the circuit for the starter after bypassing your immobilizer box. So here's how you bypass the immobilizer. This is your 8-pin A plug. There's my OBD1 ECU, and this is what you do. You take the white and green wire, A1, constant 12 volt, and you tie it together with A4, which goes to your main relay under the dash. You tie these two together, and that bypasses power to your ECU, but you need to wire in a switch so you can kill it, because this white and green wire is constant 12 volt. Now, switching to the other side, you have the light blue and the silver wire. You tie those two together, and that bypasses your starter. They're pins A2 and A3. Then you take pin A8 and pin A6 and tie those together, and that grounds your ECU. This is for the light in the dash, and this is for, it has something to do with the brake switch. So these two don't matter. So under the dash, it should look something like this right here. As you can see, I don't have any switches wired in yet, but here's your ground and your ECU wire right here. Black to brown and yellow. And then ECU power, black and, or yellow and black to white and green. And then your starter, light blue to gray. Now we have battery power again. And if we go back to the car, there's no key in the ignition, but you'll see the ECU is lit up. And after that, your car will run. As you can see, after doing that, little bypass of Roni, got the car running. Green light in the S300 means it's good. This is a P28 adapted to OBD2. Now there is one drawback to this, and I'm going to show you how to get past this. The 12 volt source that I used for the Immobilizer, it's constantly powered. It's constant 12 volt. So now we have to wire in an ECU kill switch because it's on constant 12 volt. So just waiting on a switch to get here, and we're gonna yabber dip scabbering that motherfucker right in there. So if you're gonna do this, make sure you get a switch that's rated for the load, so it's 10 amps. And I'm gonna stick mine right here, just like that. Bam. And then run the wires over here to this one right here. I'm gonna interrupt this guy, the yellow and green and the black and yellow. And then I'll be able to freely turn on and off my ECU and not have to disconnect the battery. Actually, you know what? I had to change the plans. I'm gonna hide my kill switch. I'd rather not have it where everybody can see it. So if I do leave the ECU in the car when it's out and about, it will be a little harder to steal. So here's how it should look after you wire your kill switch. White and green to black wire or whatever wire. Comes to a switch, and then the wire comes back out of the switch and goes to the yellow and black wire, and you should flip that on, and then your ECU comes on. And then instead of an Immobilizer to keep your car from being stolen, your hidden switch will. I totally forgot to record an outro. I only did this because my Immobilizer died. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. See you later.